everybody!
I don't normally get too interested in the PlayStation states of play. Typically, they're mid at best, and shitty most of the time. For once, I feel like Sony brought something interesting to the table. Of the 14 games announced or shown off, I was interested in 6 of them. That might not seem like a lot, but usually I only give a shit about 1 or 2 games tops. For this video, I'll break down the games that interested me, and I'll discuss why I feel Sony should stop bothering with states of play unless it's for one upcoming game, and why a showcase once or twice a year that really goes big would be the better choice. As it stands right now, we have a state of play a few times a year, and they're mostly underwhelming because Sony tries too hard to appeal to the normies. Most of what's announced doesn't appeal to the more hardcore gamer. If you look at the discourse after each state of play, it's always us counterculture gamers and the relatively big YouTubers in the gaming space complaining about it. That and other hardcore gamers on various social media platforms. Why is that though? You'd think Sony targeting as broad an audience as possible would have fewer individuals complaining. Well, it comes down to the old saying, if you try to please everyone, you please no one. There are multiple ways Sony could improve things. They could either go for more states of play and have them focus on a given genre, as that would give more of a focus to the experience, or they could basically eliminate states of play and only have them when they're going to showcase one of their soon-to-be released exclusives. That's my personal preference, to go down to a few states of play a year that are exclusively for an upcoming PlayStation exclusive. That way, they will drive more interest to that given title, and they can really drive the hype train when they throw a PlayStation showcase towards the end of the year. But why do I feel like throwing a showcase towards the end of the year is the best way to do things? It's because they can then effectively have a presentation akin to what they used to do for E3. Even during the most disappointing years, the PlayStation E3 presentations were always something I would get super excited for, as I'd at least come away with a few games I was super excited about. Whereas how they do it now, there will be 1 or 2 titles per state of play and maybe 4 or 5 games I have mild interest in per showcase. This also seems to be how a lot of others feel as well. I don't have hard numbers to back this up, but it is an observation. Now I know my interests in gaming are far narrower than most gamers. I primarily like JRPGs, platformers, and fighting games. But I do enjoy more mainstream games from time to time. I'm just far less likely to buy them at full price than say a game from one of the aforementioned genres. But if Sony were to condense all of their smaller state of play announcements into 1 or 2 massive showcases per year, then they'd actually drive more excitement for the upcoming games than if they're shown off piecemeal. If you look at the current gaming landscape, where are the times gamers are at their most excited collectively? I would say Summer Games Fest and the Game Awards. Speaking of, the Game Awards are a sham. Watch that video when you're done with this one. But why are people so excited during Summer Game Fest and the Game Awards? It's because we all collectively know that's when developers and publishers are going to showcase a lot of the cool shit. We've been conditioned like Pavlov's dogs.
So, Goto here. I'm just going to make a brief resume on this. Pavlov experiment is to condition a dog to have a salivation reaction even though there is no food. So give up the dog food, he'll salivate, he'll be happy, he'll want food. Unconditioned with the bell, conditioned bell with food, and then without the food, and the dog should have the same reaction. That is Pavlov's dog.
Now, people obviously get excited for Nintendo Directs, Xbox showcases, and whatever PlayStation has going on, but usually are left disappointed as for the most part, the games that are announced are mid. These middling games would be fine if presented as part of a grander showcase. If this was done, the showcases would of course be longer than they typically are, but we'd see a lot of big hitters from the likes of Sucker Punch, Insomniac, Naughty Dog, and any other big studio Sony have under their umbrella, plus any big third-party exclusives as well. Now that I've rambled about why a massive showcase akin to what E3 used to be, hit the subscribe button before we get into the games from this state of play that caught my attention. So the 6 games that caught my attention at this state of play are the following titles: Dynasty Warrior Origins, because Muso games are fun in general. Plus, it's cool to see a new Dynasty Warriors game on modern hardware. I don't really have much to say on this game, other than we kind of know what to expect, and it'll be a fun time. Musos are generally speaking the literal popcorn blockbuster of gaming. They're all pretty much the same, but they're a fun turn your brain off experience. Kind of like what the newest Planet of the Apes movie was. I saw that yesterday at the time of recording, and I enjoyed it, even if it's not the most memorable of films. That's what the Dynasty Warriors franchise effectively is. You'll have fun with it while playing, but you won't necessarily remember it after the experience is over. Silent Hill 2 also caught my attention, which didn't surprise me since that was probably the biggest hitter at this state of play. It looks great, and while I have little experience with survival horror games, I'm starting to get into the genre, thanks to most of my peers being into them. And now I'm finally starting to feel left out. In the 90s and aughts, I didn't have a friend group super into that type of game, so I didn't feel like I was missing out, and I've never really been one for horror until recently. Even then, I'm selective with the type of horror I enjoy. I much prefer the psychological kind, akin to Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. So when it releases this October, this'll actually be my first taste of Silent Hill. I get the feeling Godo is facepalming as he edits this one. Promote the editing service, dude.
Ow. Alright, so, you're telling me that with my extensive library we are sharing, you've not decided to play any of my Resident Evils. I have all these. They're all owned. Download them, play them. Frickin' download Resident Evil 5, we'll play together. Resident Evil 6, even though it's frickin' WWE Simulator. I've got a bunch of horror games on my console and on my account that we are sharing. Use them! But yeah, editing service. Guys, you're watching a little bit of it right now. I do a lot of these videos. I adore doing these videos. I adore fooling around, bashing my head in because Colin's doing some weird dad jokes or being somewhat lame. Not playing horror games. But yeah, so go to here. Love editing. Link should be down below. I'll let Colin do the rest. See you guys.
Bet you're pretty excited for this game. Also hope the editing service takes off really soon. Anyways, the other titles that caught my eye were Infinite Nikki, but that's because Kentaro Tominaga is attached to it. So this one's not exactly a go out and buy it day one game for me, but it is one I'll keep my eye on. It's cute, which is cool. I like cute games from time to time. For example, I enjoy the Atelier games. Where Wind Meets also has my attention because I like the art style, and I do enjoy open world action-adventure games from time to time. Monster Hunter Wilds might actually be the first Monster Hunter game I dedicate any amount of time to, since a lot of my friends love the series, but I never had a group of friends to play with until now. It's kind of a JRPG, so that has my attention. Plus those games tend to be a bit grindy, so that's something I could get into down the line when I have more time, which I probably will since I'll be putting out fewer videos on here going forward. If you weren't already aware, I try to upload one video a week at 6 AM Eastern Time, so hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell if you don't want to miss another upload. The final game that has my attention is Astro Bot. Yeah, big surprise, the kid who grew up with mascot platformers is excited for a mascot platformer. But you know what? I'm smiling like an idiot again just thinking about this game. It shows that there's space for this type of title in the gaming industry again. It's time someone tries to dethrone the Italian plumber.
I'm breaking the fourth wall.
I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of Mario being the premier platformer on the market. Don't get me wrong, I can enjoy the Mario games sometimes, but there needs to be more mascot platformers on the market. It's the perfect way to get kids to buy into a brand. Also, I got this prediction right in my PlayStation Showcase video I recently released.
Tell me when I'm telling lies!
Anyways, I actually think the PlayStation State of Play was decent for once. I'm not disappointed. Sure, it could have been better, but it wasn't worthless dog shit like it usually is. Was there anything that caught your attention during this State of Play? Sound off in the comments. Thanks go out to my current channel members, R. Campbell and Danny Boy. If you'd like to get shoutouts at the end of every video, early access to non-news related content, and exclusive videos, you can do so by hitting the join button or the link in the description. Now check out my video on why the Game Awards are a sham. Until next time, keep blazing that trail.